right. Yeah. Okay. Welcome to the show. It's Ringside Report. I'm Dave Simon. Fred Garcia is here. AJ DeLesio is here.
Hi, Sensei.
AJ is staying safe. We got invasions in the studio. Everything's going wild here. The outbreak is on, and things are serious. AJ, we're going to try and take it as seriously as possible here because we are dealing with a serious issue.
You think it's not serious?
Well, you're wearing a surgical mask right now. You don't need this mask in the studio.
Like I said to you earlier.
You have that mask stuffed in your pocket. It's not sterile.
Of course it's sterile. It's blue, man. And two, Johnny gets close to this mic, too. I don't know where Johnny's lips have been. So this way here,
True.
I'm safe. Johnny's safe. Freddie's good because he's got a cover on his mic.
And that's usually Freddie is mic only, and I'm on my own mic, so everything's good.
The only thing is you can't drink coffee out of this thing. That's the only hard
There
thing.
you go.
They got to come up with something.
So we've got a lot to get to here on Ringside Report over the next hour. How will the coronavirus affect the UFC? It seems like it's going to make a huge impact on not just the UFC, but pro sports as a whole. We've already seen the NBA, the NHL, Major League Soccer, and Major League Baseball all take a hiatus.
NCAA, March Madness.
March Madness has been canceled?
Canceled.
Just canceled outright.
Canceled outright.
Wow. So
figure skating championships, everything, man.
yeah, I mean that's
The
all
figure.
right. Okay.
Come on, Dave.
No, I was talking about pro sports here. Right? I wasn't talking about figure skating.
Championships, world championships.
I mean, no disrespect, but a little disrespect.
not stars on
We're talking
ice,
about
man.
MMA here. You know what I mean? This isn't figure skating, pal. This is mixed martial arts. And
listen, the Iceman went on Dancing with the Stars, so let's give him a break.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Tanya Harding did some boxing. Let's
She
not forget.
did, Freddie. You're right.
Her skills were subpar.
Well, they weren't that bad.
Tanya Harding makes Conor McGregor look like Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, yeah.
Boom. How you like them apples? We're going to try and talk about some MMA here. The UFC, they have a show this weekend in Brazil. It looks like it's going to be done in front of an empty arena. As of this recording, as of this show, we're on live on YouTube here, as we are every Thursday night at 8 p.m. We're also on the radio on TSN 690. Things are changing constantly here with this coronavirus. We're going to try and figure out what this means for the UFC, what this means for MMA. It's already affected the WWE. They're supposed to do a Smackdown show live in Detroit, Michigan. They had to move that to the Performance Center, the TV show on Fox. That's being moved. The UFC looks like they're going to be doing this show on Saturday in Brazil in front of an empty arena with no crowd at all.
It feels like Tom Hanks was the first domino. Yesterday it started with Tom Hanks, and then like every 5 minutes, Rudy Gobert, the Jazz, like now the NBA is canceled. The NHL is following. MLS, everybody.
Yeah, but let's not forget, even Ronaldo is in quarantine or whatever he's.
Yeah, exactly. It's all over the world.
These are big names, man. But Tom Hanks, come on, Castaway.
Tom Hanks has coronavirus.
Wilson,
the prime minister of this country, Justin Trudeau, he.
There goes your boxing match.
He's quarantined himself, right? Him and his wife, they're in quarantine. It's just wild what's going on right now.
How does that work?
Yeah, because he's very proactive, Dave.
Because he's still the prime minister. I mean, he's still like involved. So what? Is he like behind a glass window talking to his aides?
Like what, Hannibal Lecter?
Like he's still. I'm hoping he's still working. That's what I'm getting.
But is he working? Like
I think he's probably at home. And on the phone or on the internet, right?
You think so?
Yeah. So everybody, thank you everybody, by the way, for watching us here live on YouTube. You can super chat like Daniel Winston did. Shout out to our
Texas
buddy Daniel Winston. You can check us out online at ringsidereport.net. You can download the podcast on iTunes, and of course we're on the radio Friday nights on TSN 690. This show is all over the place, just like the coronavirus.
Whoa.
Which is totally all over the place.
Spread like butter, man.
It's everywhere, and now everything is in jeopardy. All the big fights that we were excited about last week, I was telling you about what's happening in March. I was so excited about all these big fights. The big fights in April, Khabib Nurmagomedov and Tony Ferguson. Very hyped about that, and then
the curse continues. That's what it is. It's a real curse at this point. This is the 5th time this fight may not happen. I mean,
I don't know what we're gonna do here. This whole coronavirus shutdown that's happening, it's put everything it's everything is halted. Everything's stopped. There's no sports. If there's no fights to talk about, what are we even going to do here on the show? Are we going to have a show? What's going to happen, man? I'm totally at a loss for how we move forward here with MMA. It seems like the empty arena concept is the way to go. If I were the UFC, I would say, look, people still need entertainment. They still need to make money somehow as a company. The fighters still need to get paid. So put this stuff on pay-per-view and just deal with it that way. Just have empty arenas, do things at the Ultimate Fighter gym, have fights at the UFC Performance Institute in Vegas. Do whatever you have to do to make sure these fights get put on, because as a fight fan, I don't really care if Khabib Nurmagomedov and Tony Ferguson fight at Madison Square Garden, at the Barclays Center, in a back alley, or in the Ultimate Fighter gym. As long as I get to see those two settle their differences and we figure out who the better man is, that's all I really care about. I want to know who the better fighter is, Khabib Nurmagomedov or Tony Ferguson. After that press conference last week, I really want to know, because that was a fire press conference. Tony Ferguson was putting it on him. I think he got in Khabib's head there. We could talk about that as well. That was some great stuff from Tony Ferguson, and that fight needs to happen. You talked about this fight being cursed. This is the 5th time that this fight has been scheduled. It was scheduled twice, where the guys canceled, a few weeks or maybe a month before. It was scheduled 2 more times where each guy had to cancel week of the fight. Khabib Nurmagomedov had trouble making weight for a fight with Tony Ferguson. Ferguson wound up fighting Lando Venata. Khabib had to go to the hospital because apparently he ate tiramisu, and then he was having all sorts of problems cutting weight, and that was a real issue. And with Tony Ferguson, we all know the story. He tripped on a wire. He fell over during the fight week media obligations, and he tore his knee up, and he was out for like 6 to 9 months. So this fight has been kind of cursed, and now we're sitting here 5 weeks away from this thing, and I'm wondering if it's going to happen. It's supposed to happen in New York City at the Barclays Arena, and I wonder if this fight's even going to take place. If I were the UFC, I would tell Khabib and Tony, look, you and your camps, you guys are quarantining yourselves in Las Vegas somewhere, hold up in a mansion with enough gym space so you could do all your workouts, and then you fight at the Ultimate Fighter gym. This fight needs to happen. We need to see this thing.
I personally would agree, but the thing is, I think the scenario you're saying works for like a UFC fight night. I'm not sure it works for a pay-per-view. For a big pay-per-view fight, from what I'm reading, the gate for like a Ferguson-Habib fight is still like 6-7 million, which is not the biggest money, but it's still considerable money. Now there's big money to be made with pay-per-view. Would they still have the fight in an empty arena? I would hope so. Like, as a fan, I'm with you. Like, I just want the fights to go on. I'm just not sure the UFC, for the fight nights, I'm pretty sure we're going to see them in an empty arena. At least that's what I expect for this Saturday.
Well, this Saturday, I don't know about going forward. They might start canceling stuff.
Well, Dave, look, the only thing I can say is this, is that regardless of any other sport, NBA is not hosting any games with empty seats, hockey, baseball, figure skating, whatever. But in the UFC, you can, because...
Stop bringing up figure skating.
Hey, it's awesome, man. Elvis Tokyo, remember that guy?
Yeah.
It was awesome.
McCain
Talk about
Super
martial
Fries.
arts. What?
Didn't he do the ad for the Super Fries?
I was thinking of his martial arts dance in the ice and all that kind of stuff.
All right, moving on.
So what I'm trying to get at is this, is that at the UFC 248, the prelims were the 3rd best showing on ESPN in 2020. They got over 1,200,000 views on their ESPN app. That means one thing. It's a success. The UFC is on top of the charts. ESPN is rocketing with the UFC. The numbers are skyrocketing. They can afford to host fights. If we're going to go through this coronavirus, they can host fights with 0 persons in attendance, and they're still going to make money. Like Freddie said, the gate is great, but it's not ESPN. Get to 1,200,000 on a prelim. So like O'Malley really pulled out those numbers. And then we went to pay-per-view. If you get a fight night with a big card, even showing a pay-per-view exclusive that's going to be open on ESPN, those numbers are going to hit 3 million on ESPN. It's a win-win. The UFC is in a position where no other sport can do it right now, where they can actually continue where the others can't. I mean, we're in a good position for MMA crowds.
Well, the others could, right? I mean, they were talking about doing basketball games in empty arenas.
But the issue is that a player got the virus, and now a couple of players have the virus. Whereas the beginning,
what about that's in the NBA? But what about the NHL? They stopped.
But it's
they
team
stopped
sport.
But I think that's what they're scared of. At the beginning, when the idea of having empty arenas was like, oh, we're going to stop the spreading that way. But once your players are catching it, you're not stopping it with an empty arena. Like all the players that played against Rudy Gobert, that touched him and everything, they have to be quarantined. They put, like, I think the last 3 or 4 games that the Jazz played, they told their opponents, you have to be quarantined because of the contact they had with him.
Exactly.
So
Of course.
that's where the scare is,
Sure,
I think.
but what about the NHL then? The NHL.
Well, they don't want the same thing to happen to them.
But there's no player that got sick.
Yeah,
so why
but
aren't they doing why aren't they doing empty arena hockey games? This is what I'm saying.
It's because it's team sports, Dave.
Yeah, but
that's
the
difference.
NHL could easily be doing empty arena hockey games and say, look,
I don't think so.
We'll get
No,
ratings,
I
we'll do
agree.
this and we'll that.
I don't think so because
So is
a
it
player,
possible for the UFC then?
Yes, it can.
neither because a player or a fighter is gonna end up getting it. Somebody in his entourage or something's gonna, like, it's impossible to completely stop the spreading. So somebody.
Wow, that's not going to happen in a fight.
Yeah, but-
that's going to happen in training, and you're not going to stop guys from training. I was at the gym today.
Exactly.
I'm not scared. The streets were empty downtown Montreal. I went downtown. I was at Peel Metro, and it was way emptier than it normally is. But
that's what I'm saying. If
I'm
you're
in the
the
gym, I don't care.
If you're the UFC, you got to think that there's a high possibility of one of your fighters or one of their training partners or one of their coaches having the virus. And do you want to bring that then into a building with all your employees and all that? That's where I think the issue is.
But Freddie, listen to this. I mean, the difference is that as a team sport goes, you either have like 5-on-5, 12-on-12, or whatever, right? It's big numbers in team sports. Where the UFC, it's 1-on-1, and you can control that. Okay, and the depth is so deep that you're not focused on one team. Like, oh, it's the Canadians. The Canadians cannot like drop half their team and bring like the Laval Rockets up to play for the Canadians. Where in the UFC, if something happens to McGregor, you still have an opportunity if someone else is clean to be able to fill in those shoes. It could be a Ferguson fight. I'm just saying for an example. The depth is so deep that they can continue with fight nights. And the UFC is I'm telling you.
I think it's more scared of the virus being propagated. Right now, they're lucky. There's no cases in the UFC. Great, but there's only need to be one for them to be propagation, and then
but
that's an
isolation. But that's an isolation.
Now, see what Fred is saying, AJ, and it does make a lot of sense, and it is what a lot of people are doing right now as a precaution. Is just avoiding people in general, because you could come in, whoever's team, Fighter X, I'm not going to say, Khabib or Tony or Conor or whatever.
Right.
Let's say Conor McGregor's
might
team.
be an undercard guy.
Let's say a guy from whoever shows up to the arena. One of the guys on his team has coronavirus but doesn't know it yet. Okay? Then everybody that comes in contact with him is possibly infected. Okay?
True.
So then you're putting all of the UFC employees at risk.
In quarantine.
And then all of them have to be in quarantine afterwards, and then it just makes it worse. It continues the spread of the virus. So I do understand what Fred is saying. Some people are going on, like the WWE. They're not doing their show in Detroit because the Detroit mayor didn't want the show to go on. So the WWE said, "Okay, well, we're still going to have the show go on, except the show is going to go on at the Performance Center in Orlando, Florida, and only essential personnel will be able to be there," right? So only people that 100% need to be there will have to be there.
Yeah, but
the problem with that is, what if somebody that's essential personnel has come into contact with the virus and then spreads it to your whole roster, and then you're in an even worse spot than you were in to begin with? So
in the XFL, there was a case where it was a stadium employee last week that got tested positive with that also. So it could be an employee. Like, you could have an empty stadium and still have one employee in there that has it. So
no, absolutely.
You got to cut complete contact for a couple of weeks, I think.
But the problem with the players that are getting coronavirus, for example, the Juventus soccer team and players in the NBA, the difference between them and, say, a UFC fighter like Conor McGregor, who's probably fighting once or twice maybe in 24 months, where these guys are traveling every week and every weekend. They're traveling from place to place. So that's the thing. Like the Juventus soccer team in Europe is traveling all, like, you know what I mean? They're going from place to place all the time. So there's more chances of that happening.
And that's why you cut that.
The UFC. That's why they're cut. And I'm saying with the UFC is there's less traveling for any fighter, and there's more capability to control your team, even with like their training partners and whatnot, so that fights can take place.
Some of these gyms are pretty big,
no,
man. There's a lot of people that go in there.
You're looking at gyms like ATT or something like that, or even TriStar, for example.
Yeah, there's hundreds of guys every day that go into the gym.
But you're absolutely right. So there's going to be measures, I'm sure, going to be put into place for MMA gyms, but it's easier to control. They're not traveling as much. And that's the difference. So, like,
depends
in some
who you're
way,
talking about.
It depends who you're talking about. But
so
in
coaches
general,
do seminars all over the place.
Sure, that
you're coming into close contact with people.
That could be easily controlled, right? That's a different story. Where
guys train at different gyms. Also, you go to one gym. Who knows?
If you're the New York Knicks or you're the Juventus or you're the Montreal Canadiens, you need to travel, and that's the difference. Jiu-jitsu coaches or Muay Thai coaches, MMA coaches, whatever, can afford not to go. I mean, they don't need to go. It's a different story. Professional athletes in team sports have to go. It's part of the game. That's why they're closing it. And I think it's a good idea.
The more I think about it, the more I think it's going to probably be on a couple of weeks. They're going to say, like, we're going to reevaluate in 2 or 3 weeks. And from there, we'll see. Some countries, like, seem to be handling it. Like, I don't have the numbers in front of me and all that, but at some places in the world, they seem to be like containing this. So who knows? In 2-3 weeks, maybe we're gonna be going back slowly to normal.
Fred, I really hope you're right, because right now we're sitting here, and we are 1, 2, 3.
WrestleMania
4,
won't
5.
happen.
We're 5 weeks away from Ferguson and Khabib.
It's a tough one.
Does it happen?
This gets delayed.
You think it's getting delayed?
Yeah, I think it's getting delayed.
Yeah, because there's too much like commotion right now.
And I agree with Freddie, because this is the best thing. What you're going to do is you're going to carry that hype train, and you're also going to look at the safety for everybody, especially the fans. It's the fans that are coming from all over the world to see this fight. And I think, and we're going to Vegas or we're going to New York or whatnot, they can postpone that fight. So the Ferguson fight is not going to happen in March. It's going to happen sometime in August or September, but that fight will take place. And I think it's the safest route to take. But in between, the UFC will still host a lot of fight nights.
If that fight is moved to August,
it's going to be moved.
Connor's going to slide in and fight Khabib instead.
It's very possible.
Come on now.
It's going to be, even if it's Connor.
Come on
Dave,
now.
He can't really fight.
How the UFC is going
to. But when is also like Ramadan, because with Khabib, he's not going to be fighting like
during Ramadan.
If it's not happening right now, it's probably getting delayed to November or December.
You know what, Fred? It's very possible. You're right. This is a crazy time in sports and a crazy time in like life, in a sense. I mean, we've never seen so many sports being closed at the same time.
Ramadan starts the 24th of April, ends the 23rd of May.
So if
it's not happening in April, like it's not happening for a couple of months.
I'm telling you, maybe September, October, November, and that's it. That could be it.
Oh boy,
listen, man,
this is not good. This is really bad, and I really wonder how the UFC is going to react. They're an international company. They have fighters and teams and people from all around the world traveling for every single show. They're supposed to do this show in Brazil this weekend.
It's happening, Dave. The show is still happening.
Is it?
It's happening.
I would think this weekend is going to happen because they're already there. Okay. But to stick on the subject also of the
does next week happen? In London, England, Tyron Woodley's supposed to fight Leon Edwards. Is that fight going to happen?
For 2 reasons, I'll tell you no. First one, travel is very affected right now, so going to London is going to be an issue probably for a lot of people. And the second thing, I'll go back, is to the UFC and all these owners of sports leagues, sports teams. They got liability issues with their employees. They cannot put their employees at risk and all that. So if the government is telling like recommendation that you stay at home, you don't do... They're not going to go against that because they could be in trouble. They could be liable to their employees.
You're Tyron Woodley, right? You're an American mixed martial artist. You're going to London, England. The president of the United States has just restricted travel from Europe to the United States.
But I think,
right?
if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think England, there's an
England
exception.
exempt?
I think the UK is exempted. But again, we don't know. It could change by tomorrow.
It could change. and it could change by the time you get to London. Like, if I'm Tyron Woodley and I'm thinking about flying down to London next week for my fight with Leon Edwards, I'm thinking, man, I might not be able to get back into the country. So I don't think that fight's going to happen. I don't think the fight on the 28th in Columbus, Ohio, and Ngannou and Rosenstruck, I don't think that's going to happen. I think WrestleMania is going to be affected. I don't know if WrestleMania is going to happen. I don't know if any of this stuff is going to happen.
But look, like WrestleMania, technically...
WrestleMania is crazy, okay?
But can you postpone that? Like, can you push it till August?
Oh, boy.
Why not?
It would be hard. It would be really hard.
Because it's called SummerSlam.
That's right.
Oh, man.
I mean, the things kind of keep on moving. It would be really hard to move WrestleMania. I don't know what the WWE is going to do. This is a disaster, almost more for them because they have more events scheduled. You know, the UFC only does once a week. WWE, they're doing a big TV show like two, three times a week, you know, on most weeks. So this is bad for the WWE. They have their biggest show of the year, WrestleMania, coming up. This is going to be bad.
So, but basically, you can't, you just...
Fred,
just
you
to
think
make sure.
Mania's getting canceled?
Yeah.
Oh.
Freddie's the voice of reason. Whatever Freddie says, chances are 72% of the time he's right.
I mean, that's just the trend right now. Like, if big like the NBA is a $1 billion industry. Like, they're not taking this decision lightly. If they're like, they got some very powerful people in there that are telling them this is what you need to do, and somebody's gonna make sense to Vince that also we gotta postpone it.
If WrestleMania were in Montreal, it would be banned already.
Oh, yeah.
Because in this province, in Quebec, the premier, you know, he just said, yeah, you can't assemble more than 250 people at a time. You're not allowed to have any events now with more than 250 people. Everything in the city's been canceled. Everything's done.
Indoors.
Yeah, well, outdoor season's coming. But, I mean, you know, there's a jazz festival. There's a comedy festival. How's that going to play out? Who knows, man? None of this
Time will tell. I mean, we'll get a better idea.
Good.
Look,
it's all looking very bad.
Look,
dude.
if, like they said, that if they can, like...
But you know what? Here's a look on the bright side.
What?
Do you know anybody with coronavirus?
Right now, maybe Ronaldo in...
No. I
event,
mean, do you know anybody... Fred, I'm going to ask Fred because you're going to give me a stupid answer.
But no,
Fred,
man, it's possible. You don't know.
Fred, do you know anybody with coronavirus?
I think in Quebec there's 7
Mind
cases.
you have a little bit of a sore throat there, David.
I don't know anybody with coronavirus. I don't have a sore throat. I'm totally fine. And I don't
Hold
travel.
your breath for 30 seconds.
You know I don't travel. I'm always here doing this with you guys.
True.
You do jiu-jitsu, man.
Yeah, he's got a point, Fred. He's got a point again.
The same guys every week.
Did you Purell those guys? Did you, like, hose them down?
I always Purell my opponents. Always before we wrestle.
Maybe that's what they got to do in the UFC. Just like everybody that walks in gets sprayed with, like, I don't know, some neutralizer, and that's it. There you go.
So Bellator's doing a show at Mohegan Sun Casino in Connecticut.
They did their weigh-ins today.
Yeah, and they're doing that without fans. No fans.
So there you go. Again, like I said, it's going to carry through with the UFC, who has a stronger grasp than any other sport, especially with their ESPN app.
Okay.
That is proving that numbers are coming in.
I'm not clear on what your stance is. Your stance is they're going to do this show without fans, and then they're going to continue to do shows without fans?
So
if
next
necessary.
week, the London show happens where? In London at the UFC training center?
Like, your stance isn't even clear, AJ, because what you seem to be saying is, yeah, we're going to do it in empty arenas.
Sure.
Empty arenas, except the Khabib Ferguson fight. You got to push that to August.
You know what AJ is?
Why? 'Cause it's a
He's
big
the
name.
Joe Biden of our show.
Thank you very
Senile?
much. Yeah, listen, man, you can say what you want, but they can afford to do fight nights.
Plagiarist?
What?
Liar? Groper? Which part?
What are you talking about? Are you talking about Harvey Weinstein?
What?
Listen, I'm going to tell you something, Dave. The UFC can carry this through with their UFC fight night programs. Pay-per-views are going to be a little bit harder because you need that gate and you need the crowd and you need all that kind of stuff. But they can push
you're
it
saying
forward.
all the fight nights should go forward, but the
Without
pay-per-view
attendance.
should not.
Exactly.
You're not thinking about safety or anything.
I am.
You're thinking about money.
No, I'm not. Not at all. I'm talking about safety because you can control it with the fight nights in controlled settings with fighters that are
Like, let's
healthy
be honest,
and
all
whatnot.
these companies are thinking about money, okay? Because
How do you control it better with the fight nights over the pay-per-views?
Well, it's just for money.
doesn't make sense.
You know what? It's just for the money because you can.
So it is for the money.
Well, it is in the end because UFC 248
choose
prelims
money- you can't choose
brought
money
over
over
$1 million.
safety. You can't choose money over the health of people.
But let me try to help AJ here a little bit.
You
Okay,
don't have to help me. It's 1 million viewers.
I'm
man,
still
on prelims.
I'm still thinking it's gonna get canceled. But let's go like the next 2 weeks after that. They're in London and Columbus. Let's say they were to change these fights to happen at the training center in Vegas, where everything like is under control. Hey, who knows? Maybe it's a success. Like
exactly.
I would maybe try it, but like I say, I doubt it happens mostly
Freddie,
because of the employees that are also affected by that.
But Freddie, let's look at it. Look at the prelims fight with O'Malley and whatnot. It's not like there's a full crowd in attendance, right? But they have 1 million viewers that came to watch this fight. The prelim card was like the third highest ever in 2020, and the numbers are growing. So
it's third highest what? I'm sorry, it's the second time you said.
The third highest viewerships in prelims in 2020. So
we're 3 months into the year. What does that mean?
But it still got over 1 million viewers, man. That's the difference.
I don't know what AJ's talking about anymore.
I'm just saying is that you don't need a crowd to get the money and the viewership. It's right here, straight, solid. Come on, guys, get with the times.
I don't know.
Even Logan Paul is fighting with, what's his name there? Paulo Costa. Did you see that, by the way?
I thought that was fake.
That's not fake. That was real, man.
I think it was fake.
Did you see? He punched, like, Costa in the eye. He had a bruise under his eye. It wasn't fake.
There's a UFC fight night on April 11th that was supposed to be in somewhere. It's being moved to Las Vegas.
Say what date?
April 11th. The Alistair Overeem fight. It was supposed to be in Portland, Oregon, but that's being moved to Las Vegas for now. So there's another late-breaking story there.
It's amazing.
That just happened. Man, this coronavirus, the stories continue to move along. It continues to shake not just the MMA world, not just pro wrestling, but the whole world, right? It's kind of a weird deal that's going on. I was at the grocery store today. Jeez.
What'd you buy?
Toilet paper, baby.
You fought for it?
Yeah, of
course.
course.
On, what's up with the toilet paper thing?
Yo, I choked out 3 men for toilet paper today.
Sure it wasn't 3 grandmas?
Talk about Charmin.
I don't think I think I was just gripping the toilet paper really
But what's up
hard.
with the toilet paper thing? Tell me. I don't understand this whole thing.
The shelves are bare of toilet paper. There's like no more toilet paper left. I went to the grocery store and like all they had left was a generic brand, nothing soft and creamy. I took the nice
What'd you take?
Like I understand toilet
cashmere or something really nice.
Oh, with the kittens there?
Oh yeah,
Those kittens.
I got the velour. No, I got velour. That's what I got.
Excuse me there. See who makes the bucks on this show.
I got the last 3 packs of velour. I was like, yo,
We've got the Costco brand.
I'm taking this because if the poop hits the fan, I want it to be pleasurable at least. I don't want it to be rough and rough like sandpaper.
But you see, I don't understand like. Okay, toilet paper is very important, but like if anything would would be in shortage, I would think it's like, you know, food, steaks,
water,
things like that, you know? Like,
you guys know me. I like things that are exclusive, you know? I'm a hype beast, okay? I like Yeezys. I like things that you can't find. So when I go to I go to the store and I see that it's the last 3 packs of this toilet paper, I'm like, yo, this is exclusive. People are trying to buy this stuff. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to have it. And I know it never gets old. It never goes bad. So it doesn't hurt to have it. And that's what's happening right now. And I'm telling you, I was at the grocery store. It was bananas. I was walking the streets. I was like, where is everybody? That I went to the store. And it was crazy.
Now, I'm going to tell you what. Next week on this show, I'm going to bring you the most essential thing that you need, which I got like earlier today. I didn't get something for the show. I'm going to bring it next week for both you guys. It's Jägermeister, man. You need some Jägermeister. It's 55 herbs in there. You need alcohol. Apparently, it helps with the coronavirus. So, you know what? Forget your toilet paper. Get Jägermeister.
Are we even doing a show next week?
Why not?
I don't know.
We could talk about anything.
We might be on lockdown.
We could talk about toilet paper.
We might be on lockdown. Straight up.
We're here?
Everywhere, bro.
I got my mask, man. Forget
Ringside
it.
Report lockdown. All right. You've heard of TNA lockdown. Well, it's Ringside Report lockdown, and there's no steel cages involved. Unless there's a steel cage involved.
You know what we could do?
Get into a steel cage, brother?
Well, we could, technically.
Yeah.
As long as it's sterilized and Purell, for sure. I'm there. But you know what? Listen, we're going to be talking about the UFC next week. The Brazil fight is going to go through.
Okay, let's talk about the UFC when we come back. We got some fights to talk about. I want to talk about Israel and Yoel Romero, the controversy there. Whose fault was it? Also, did anybody think Joanna won? Because that was a split decision. I'm kind of confused about that. And some other stuff going on around the UFC. Hopefully some fights that are coming up. I don't really know. We also have some questions from our main man that we're going to get to during the commercial break here. So stay with us. Short break for the radio side. We stay on here on YouTube during the commercials. And you can talk to us, and we'll do some commercials. Okay? Stay with us. More UFC coming when we come back. Stay with us. Yo, we're still here.
Yo.
So we got some questions from our buddy, Daniel Winston.
Daniel, Texas.
He asked us if we like boxing, and do you think the boxing fight on this weekend, James Kirkland versus Marcos Hernandez. Now, that fight has been postponed. The Kirkland versus Hernandez PBC boxing match that was supposed to take place in Maryland this weekend has been postponed to a later date due to coronavirus scares.
So that's exactly what I was trying to say earlier with the pay-per-views, man.
We do like boxing. I'm not a boxing expert. I like boxing. I'm not a super boxing fan. You have a boxing background, AJ. But, yeah, we're more of an MMA show. We're more of a... we do pro wrestling as well. We're Wrestling Uncensored, but once in a while we'll cover boxing. That Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder fight, we covered that fight. That was a great one.
With everything being canceled right now, I'm gonna be searching for stuff to watch.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was trying to say.
They still playing cricket?
Yeah, cricket is one of the most popular sports in the world.
Maybe I'll figure out how that shit works.
Wally, help me with the darts. I gotta understand it.
Man, darts is huge.
You think it's bad here? It's bad in Ireland.
It's bad in Ireland. It's
our well wishes to Wally and all our friends out in Ireland. It's real bad in Ireland. They canceled the St. Patrick's Day parade in Ireland. Well, they did it here
too as well.
They canceled the one here too. They canceled the one in New York. They're canceling, parades everywhere. I mean, at this point, if we're not going to have a SmackDown, what's the point of having a parade?
They canceled my daughter's 2-year-old swimming class.
Did they? Goodness. Well, good for them. Good for them.
Damn, man.
Look, what it comes down to is that you need to isolate.
What the fuck is going on here?
Dave, don't worry, man. Don't worry. Everything's going to come.
Tripping out, man.
Listen, man, don't trip.
I don't fucking like this.
Just keep listening to Ringside Report. We'll keep you briefed on all things news and whatnot.
But I'm on Ringside Report.
Well, yeah, but
just going to keep me briefed?
Just if you're gone next week, we know it's 3, 2, 1, show's over, canceled. Daniel Winston, thanks for your help and keeping the show alive.
They're recommending for people to work at home. My job, I work at a radio station. I can't work at home, dude. So, I'm gonna tell them that.
Yeah, but do they have the precautionary measures that they put out us?
They ain't got shit.
I'm gonna tell you something.
I'll tell you what. I'm gonna ask them for more money. I'm not coming in unless they pay me double.
Man, listen.
I want double pay. You find somebody else to work, bro. I don't need it. All right. I don't want to go into work.
Look,
pay me double to show up.
I'm gonna tell you,
it's crazy.
Look,
it's too. I don't want to leave my house, man.
But I don't blame you, man. But you're not in that demographics where you have to worry. The only thing is that you can carry it and
I don't
want
to carry anything, man.
Look,
it's terrible.
It's a bad time, man. Listen, this is the only time I can't even think. What was it? 1919? When was the Spanish flu? When they actually canceled soccer games?
I don't know. I wasn't alive.
There was one Canadian player that died from it back in those days. Montreal Canadian player. But when you look at a global cancellation of sports, this has never happened, man.
I've never seen this.
Never happened.
Never seen this.
Look. There's a lot of money lost. Well, think about it, Dave. There was no other, a war? World War II? They still played soccer?
I don't know. 9/11 shit stopped for a little while.
No, it didn't. It didn't stop.
Yeah, it did.
Where? Maybe in North America, but the rest of the world was still rocking.
Everybody was scared that there was going to be more attacks.
Yeah, but it didn't stop soccer matches and whatnot.
A good week or two, people were scared after 9/11. That's the last time I remember the world kind of shutting down for a few days.
Liverpool fans don't back down.
Even then, it wasn't like this. Schools didn't shut down.
No, you're right. Well,
I was in school at the time. It didn't shut down.
Look, in Montreal right now, as of today, they're closing every type of city center, sports facility, swimming pools, schools.
They said they might stop the metro and bus services. Could you imagine?
Well,
how are people going to get around?
Well, like they did in Italy right now. Maybe they need to close down everything to sort of control it for 10 to 14 days, like they were saying. Let's close everything down. Let's isolate it, and then just let's see what we can do.
Man, I just want Netflix and WWE Network to put on some really good shit, and I'm just going to stay home and not do anything, all right?
Hey,
Fred. I told you, I'm back into my sim racing, so I'm just racing.
That's
lately.
it. Fred's playing video games.
iRacing.com.
It's time to hunker down. It's time to ration our food. It's time to get serious. It's time to listen to Alex Jones. This is a conspiracy of some sort. Fred has the documents.
Is he out of jail?
Oh, man.
Alex Jones is in jail?
he got a DWI.
What? Are you serious?
In Texas, where our buddy Daniel Winston is from, and he also asked us, who do you think is going to win the fight night in Austin, Texas? I think we talked about it on Saturday. Jennifer Mayo, I think,
yeah, we were talking
is
about
going to be
that.
fighting on that one. I think she's.
I think Mayo
she's
is
a
my
good
choice
pick
as
for
well.
that. That should be a good card.
Man, this is nuts. It's nuts. But
Yeah,
you know
this
what,
is
Dave?
wild.
You know what we got to do? Look, if something doesn't happen with the UFC cards and we have nothing to talk about, can we show maybe a UFC 1 or a UFC 2 and
we could do
commentate
watch-alongs.
about it?
We'll do watch-alongs.
Let's do a watch along about UFC. Get everybody to watch UFC 1 and look over where it all started with Royce Gracie.
We'll do
with all
you know how we were gonna do a UFC watch along for the Khabib and Tony fight, right?
Right.
Like we were gonna be here live, Instead, what we're gonna do is we're gonna watch UFC 1, and we'll do a watch along for that. And you could watch UFC 1 on the Fight Pass, and
we go back to the roots and see where it all started and see the evolution of the sport, where it came from UFC 1, which was incredible. Did you guys see it live, by the way?
I didn't see it live.
I saw it live, so that shows you, man. Like Rosetta Stone, I'm up there. So the thing is this, Freddie, you're supposed to agree with me. But anyways, it would be awesome. We could do a show party. Let's hope it doesn't happen, but if it does, it's option number 2. Hey, Daniel Winston.
He's got questions.
Tell us, Daniel.
He wants. He's got questions about this UFC show in Austin, Texas.
Let's see.
He's very focused on that, and I'm trying to figure out who is actually fighting on this card outside of Jennifer Maia and Viviana Raijo. I don't really know. I think Jennifer Maia probably takes it in that one, although that should be a good fight. Is that going to be the main event for that? As June 27th, supposed to go down June 27th in Austin, Texas. That's where our buddy Daniel's from. But, I would be leaning towards Jennifer Maia. What do you guys think?
That can't be the main event.
It can't be the main event. What's the main event for that? What would be the main event? Maybe it'll be Tony and Khabib. I mean, you never know. Maybe if things get pushed.
That's the only fight that's announced right now. It seems it's the Jennifer Maia.
Yeah.
So
maybe Daniel's got some inside information. He knows what the main event is. Other than that, I think we got Jennifer Maia in that fight, but
there's not much
outside of those fights. I mean, I don't really know what the main event would be for that Austin, Texas.
Yeah,
card.
it's got to be a little bit more hype, other than
still in June.
Maia,
you would think they'd have an idea.
Look, it could be anybody.
Because aren't they going to Saskatoon in June, and they already know it's going to be Curtis Blades and Alexander Volkov? When's UFC Saskatoon? If they know what the Saskatoon main event is, how come they wouldn't know what the Texas main event is?
Saskatoon is a week before, so I don't know.
What's up?
No clue.
Well, we should be finding out more information on that Austin, Texas card. So we'll see. Daniel said he's supposed to go to a PGA golf tournament in Texas, and they postponed that.
Wow.
Yeah, well, they announced that the Masters is going to be played without fans also. So,
look,
really, wow.
Let's see. Who would I put on an Austin, Texas fight? I would put somebody like maybe Eric Anders. How
about Cowboy Cerrone?
Cowboy Cerrone would be awesome. Eric Anders.
A Cowboy in Texas always works. Eric Anders, yeah.
Yeah. Roll Tide.
But I'm talking about a good main event. Who's out there right now?
Well, I mean, Cowboy Cerrone could be a pretty good main event if it's a fight night, for sure. Let's be honest. It's Cowboy Cerrone.
Yeah. A Cowboy comeback fight. Cowboy versus...
Who?
I don't know. At this point, I have no idea. I don't know what
retirement.
Yeah, Cowboy versus.
Or maybe that could be one of his retirement fights. I mean, he's up there. How many more fights does he have in him? Not many.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It could be something interesting. You need to put something like a good heavyweight fight in there that can attract some numbers. Maybe your Hardy guy that can go back down to Texas.
Who?
Hardy.
Dan Hardy?
No, Craig.
For a second, I thought he was talking about the Hardy Boys.
I thought you were talking about Matt Hardy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like...
I thought he was talking about Dan Hardy for a second. I was really confused.
No. Craig Hardy. You get him out there like all the football fans.
Who's Craig? Who's Craig Hardy?
Craig?
What did I say?
You said Craig.
What did I say? Did I say Craig?
Yeah. Greg Hardy.
Greg. That's what I said.
Isn't Greg Hardy supposed to be fighting next week?
Hey, listen. Talk about... You know what? I need
Greg Hardy's supposed to be fighting really soon, isn't he? He's got a fight coming up. I think it was... It might be in Columbus, Ohio. There.
With what's his name?
On the Rosenstruck.
Rosenstruck.
Ngannou card, maybe? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know what I would have liked to see? Somebody like, say, Hardy against Cyril Gane in Texas. That could be an interesting fight. But right now, Cyril Gane is fighting some upper respiratory issue. So
oh no,
who knows?
That sounds like Corona, bro.
I know, and they kept it like hush hush. They called it some other name, whatever. But he's like in quarantine.
Not Cyril Gane too, man.
That's what I heard, man.
¿Qué pasa?
But we don't know, man. They called it like a lung infection, blah blah blah.
Oh, no bueno.
We need to call Lopez and find out what's happening.
This is really no bueno. Okay. I'm going to tell you how
that sucks for France MMA.
I'm going to tell you how to protect yourself. I'm going to tell you how to stay safe.
Jägermeister.
On the internet with IPVanish. Now, these days, there's a lot of security problems on the internet. Not just security problems for your health. Identity fraud, theft, and privacy are major preoccupations. You need a VPN. We've been using IPVanish for a few years now, and we're more than satisfied. Got it on our phones. We can surf safely on public Wi-Fi all over. You're at the mall, you're at a store, you're using their public Wi-Fi. You need to be safe. You need a VPN on your phone because there are hackers who are looking to find someone to attack. They can get access to all of your information, passwords, credit card info, all sorts of stuff. You got to keep them out with IPVanish. We've got it on our Amazon Fire Stick. We've got it on all our devices, and it's very useful. You need a VPN. You need to stay protected on the internet. A subscription will include 10 simultaneous connections on multiple devices. This means you can watch UFC live on one device, continue streaming on another, and then still have 8 secure connections to spare. IPVanish is available as user-friendly software for all of your devices, including Windows, Mac OS, Android, iOS, and Fire TV. If you sign up for a subscription, that'll include a 7-day money-back guarantee using our link, which is vpn.ringsidereport.net. The Ringside Report Network will receive a small commission that will help us produce more content. So go to vpn.ringsidereport.net. That's vpn.ringsidereport.net and sign up to IPVanish today and stay safe on the internet.
Play safe, man. I get it, Dave. Very good commercial.
Safety first.
Safety, man.
That's what this show is all about, man.
Well, we're talking about like coronavirus and things that, like we're proactive, man. Even with IPVanish.
How worried are you about coronavirus on a scale of 1 to 10?
9.9.
Seriously?
Yeah, man.
Fred?
I'm cool.
What? Freddie? Come on, man.
Fred, you didn't even give me a number.
I'm cool.
Give me Freddie.
Okay.
Come on, Freddie.
So Freddie's not giving a number. He's just cool. AJ's 9.9.
9.9, man.
And I'm about a
come on,
7.
Dave. Come on, Dave. You're not that lax, are you?
7 worried.
I'm more scared for my money that keeps going away, man.
Taxes, Canadian taxes, while like our prime minister is in quarantine in a box.
No, I'm talking about my retirement money that's just like flying away.
Yeah, but it's normal. Like the market is gonna drop. It's like
worst day since 1987.
Dropped. It's normal. Like
worst day since 1987.
Things will get back up.
Good God Almighty!
As long as we take care of this virus, things will get better.
Fuck, bro, this is the craziest shit I've ever seen. But I'm not super
People need
worried.
to work, man. People need to, like, if everything stops, how are people going to pay their bills? Everybody needs to work and make money.
Yeah. I assume I'll still have work because, and I
so
think
it's
we'll be
250 plus. That's outside or inside? Like, what was that whole thing of, like...
Inside. You're not allowed to have more than 250 people in a group at one time in the province of Quebec right now.
So I guess... Our strip joints in Montreal are going to still be safe? Are they 250 less?
Are there more than 250 people in a strip club?
100%. I'm sure in some strip joints there probably is.
Why are you always talking about strip clubs on the show?
Because it's Montreal. I want Daniel to know in Texas.
Are you going
Montreal.
a lot? I think everything's bigger in Texas, including strip clubs.
I don't know about that. Montreal is
I'll tell you what, Montreal, we got a lot of strip clubs.
I've heard Texas is pretty crazy. Houston, I've heard, is insane. I've heard there's something in Houston that's like nuts.
Well, you saw a lot of those movies.
Like, to me, like, Montreal has probably as many strippers as Vegas. Like,
if not more.
I'm telling you,
Freddie,
Houston,
if not
Houston
more.
is a hub, guys.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something.
Houston, we have numbers on that. Somebody help us.
Let's go to Houston. I'll show you what I'm talking about.
No. I think there was a saying that said Mark Twain.
Gigantic asses, from what I understand.
Listen,
Mark, just crazy.
Where, in Texas?
Yeah.
Well, There you go. Everything's big in Texas.
That's what I'm saying.
But listen to this. Mark Twain, I believe, said once. He says, if you throw a rock,
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Is that Mark Twain that said that?
No, Well, I'm sure Mark Twain had a big butt himself too. But listen to this. He said once.
What are you talking about?
Listen to this. Let me finish. I
thought you were going to talk about his dick, and then you said his
take
butt.
It easy, man.
Well, I don't know. You're like Mark Twain.
I'm not that crude.
I'm sure he had a big.
So did you see Sarah Palin singing the
national anthem?
She's got back or whatever on the Masked Singer. Yeah.
Oh, did she?
That's
Yeah.
nice.
That's
Sarah
good.
Palin. Because she could have been the president.
She's got to make money somehow, right? She's got to do something.
So let me get back to Mark Twain. Twain
Daniel
once
Winston says last time that they went to Austin, Texas, Cowboy Cerrone fought. So hey, that makes sense.
It makes sense,
there
man.
You go.
Get Cowboy back. So let me get back to the Mark Twain thing. 12 times in a row here. He said that if you throw a rock in Montreal,
the guy that wrote Tom Sawyer.
Yeah. So if you throw a rock in Montreal, chances
Monday
are
Warriors are me bad the 10 times I am. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
Tom Sawyer.
Wasn't that Rush? Rush wrote Tom Sawyer,
Isn't
man.
Rush Canadian?
Not Mark Twain.
Isn't Rush Canadian?
That was
Hey, Freddie, isn't Rush Canadian?
Yeah, Rush is Canadian,
Yeah, so
bro.
there you go, man. Canadian. Now, let me get back to the Mark Twain thing.
Why?
Jesus,
Let
man.
them eat cake.
No, that's... No. But that was close enough. That's what probably Trudeau's going to say right now while he's in quarantine.
Send
But
location.
that's what maybe Khabib will say in
Number
3
one
weeks.
bullshit.
Yeah. Location
This-
in September.
This is number one bullshit. That's what Khabib should do. Khabib should be like, yo, they canceled the fight because of coronavirus. Tony Ferguson, send location. I will be there.
Why don't they do the fight in Dagestan?
Location.
Do the fight in Dagestan. They have no, like,
I
sure
want
there's
Tony
nothing.
Ferguson to come out alive, dude. Once he whoops on Khabib, puts the vicious beating on him, I want him to
what's
survive.
Pass me that. You want to hear my story? Oh, no, I can't say the story now. The little boss is here.
The main man just walked in.
Here, pass it to me.
Are you a champion?
Zevi, pass the
All right,
belt.
I'll see you later, dude.
So I can't say this. There's a child in. I wanted to finish my Mark Twain thing. So the
he
child
just
boss
burst in
is
the
out.
studio.
The child boss is out with his WWE belt. And Mark Twain, let me finish this because I know you're going to interrupt, said that if you throw a rock in Montreal, chances are it's going to hit a church. Then AJ's version is, he's absolutely right. But once it bounces off the church, chances are it's going to hit a strip joint. That's Montreal. Took me only 50 minutes to say that. Damn, took away the fun out of it. Don't you get it, Freddie?
I would say there's definitely more strip joints than churches. But
Well, back then there was probably a lot of churches. And then at one point in the 80s, there was churches and
here
strip joints.
at
They
the
were very-
Ringside
What,
Report
Davey?
Network,
Come on.
we've been producing podcasts for a long time now, and many of you have been using Stitcher to stream or download our shows, Wrestling Uncensored, Ringside Report MMA. Stitcher offering you the Ringside Report universe as part of their sponsorship of our work, a special premium offer on the premium version of Stitcher. Besides all of our shows, they have over 100,000 podcasts that you can listen to on your iPhone, Android, tablet, PC, Amazon Echo device, or in your car on demand, ad-free with Stitcher Premium. Stitcher Originals, bonus episodes, comedy albums, and more are available. Only $4.99 a month or $34.99 per year. What you want to do is go to Stitcher.com/premium and use the promo code RINGSIDE for a free month. That is Stitcher.com/premium, promo code RINGSIDE for a free month of Stitcher Premium. You want to go sign up. It is a great service. $4.99 a month, $34.99 a year. Or once again, Stitcher.com/premium, promo code RINGSIDE for a free month of Stitcher Premium. AJ is showing signs while I'm doing the thing. Rest in peace to your little doggy there, AJ. Yes, that is
Little
very
Finnegan.
sad.
Isn't he cute?
Was that your mom's dog?
Yeah, it's my mom's dog.
Sorry to hear. That's sad, AJ.
I love Finnegan. So everybody, this is Finnegan.
Usually your little gimmicks I kind of, dismiss, but
What
this
are you talking about?
this I feel bad for. I'm sorry.
Well, it is. It's
my condolences to you and your family on the loss of your beloved pet. Definitely member of the family.
woof woof.
I have pets. They're very important. And, if you have a pet, you understand. Very sad.
Like, that's the thing. You got to be, good to your pets.
Of course.
Sometimes they're way better than, humans.
Unconditional love.
It's true, man.
Right?
It's all about love, man.
Right?
Hey, Fred.
Okay.
So be nice to your pets.
Okay.
Where were we at? You were talking about your commercial there. The Rogan. No, that was
Let them
Stitcher.
eat cake.
Oh, yeah. Let them eat cake.
Marie
I
Antoinette.
thought mine was better, the Mark Twain thing.
Anyways, it doesn't really matter. You were talking about strip clubs again, AJ.
Well, think about it. If it's 250 plus, Freddie, don't I have a point there?
I mean, I know some strip clubs have like at least 20 strippers in there. So if you got 20 strippers, you got like add the bouncers, add like the DJ.
That's only about 100 people.
Then the clients.
But then the clients, man. Think
250
about the clients.
people?
Easy.
What's the
Doubtful.
biggest strip joint here in Montreal?
I don't know. Let's go. Let's
That
go
would
and then
be,
count how many people are there.
That
That's
would be-
the only reason that we're going. If our girlfriends ask, okay, the only reason we're going
Is because
is to do a head count to make sure everything's above
No,
board.
this is all statistical information. It's all part of the research. Come on, Dave. Sports fans want to know. John Jones wants to know because I'm guaranteeing you, as soon as he hears the show, Jones is flying into Montreal. Coronavirus or not, he's here. I'm just saying.
Johnny North says, as of right now, he still has a wrestling match March 29th. I think that wrestling match will be canceled.
Yeah, Johnny.
Although,
Johnny, don't oil your body yet, man. It might not happen.
I mean, aren't there more than 250 people for that?
Oh, yeah.
I would hope
Johnny's
so.
shows are huge, man.
I would hope so. Come on.
No clippers, no oil. Forget
Johnny,
it, Johnny.
I think your match is going to be canceled, brother. We'll talk about that on Dave and Johnny Live tomorrow.
So you're saying there's more people to see a topless Johnny than a topless stripper?
No, you're probably right.
I
No.
I love
think
you,
you're right.
Johnny.
I don't know.
Hey, listen, man.
Yeah,
Johnny
I
has
think
a lot of like females after him. There's no doubt about it.
Semi-nude Johnny North
And males too, I know.
probably draws more than nude women in some instances.
Johnny-
Not all instances, but some instances.
You know
Probably,
what?
yes.
Why don't we do like yeah, we should do
Congratulations,
that.
John.
We should do a poll. Put Johnny and put like I don't know who's like the hottest
You should
female
know.
fighter.
Oh, I thought you were going to say female stripper.
What's the poll gonna be?
Like who's hotter, Johnny or I don't know.
Well, if men are if like heterosexual men are answering,
Or we could put 3. We could put 1, 2, and 3. Johnny and with I don't know.
Let's not do that.
Think
Let's
about,
not do that. Let's
Why
let's
not?
just because it's a bad
CM
idea.
Punk or
It's a
something?
bad
I don't
idea
know.
for so many reasons, AJ. We're just not going to do it. Okay,
Oh, man, sounds like
let's get
fun.
back to the show. You're a
how do you
weird
think?
guy.
How do you think Facebook got to be where they are?
One back.
Okay. All right, welcome back. It is Ringside Report. I'm Dave Simon. Fred Garcia is here. AJ D'Alessio is here. We are on TSN 690 Radio every Friday night. We're live on YouTube. Catch the YouTube version of this every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Talking to you, answering your questions on the Super Chat. We are here for you, the Ringside Report universe. Any MMA questions you have throughout the show, we answer them on the Super Chat, and we break everything down, and hopefully we're going to have fights to break down over the next few weeks here, guys. Doesn't look like it.
I think it will. I keep saying it. It's going to happen.
Yeah, well, AJ.
Last week we had some good fights to talk about still.
AJ usually wrong, so yeah. But Fred, you are correct. Once again, see AJ wrong, Fred is right.
Hey, wait, man.
There
Time will
were
tell.
there were some great fights last weekend. That Zhang Wei Li, Joanna Jędrzejczyk fight, fantastic co-main event at UFC 248. Zhang Wei Li wins by split decision, 47-48, 47-48, or 48-47, 48-47, and then 47-48. One judge scoring it, 3 rounds to 2 for Joanna. AJ, you and I watched it together. We scored it for Zhang Wei Li. Freddie, you were watching at home. How did you score the fight?
Well, I'm going to start off by just saying I was very tired. But no, I had Zhang Wei Li also winning. I think especially the first couple of rounds, it was clearly to Zhang. And I think as the fight went on, Joanna got her moments, but it was still like mostly Zhang Wei Li. I don't remember the breakdown of the rounds, how I gave them. But I thought early on in the fight, Zhang Wei Li was doing very good. And later on, Joanna did have her moments, but I still think overall it was Zhang Wei Li that...
But in my opinion, I think they're both a winner in this fight. I mean, when you look at the overall fight, I mean, we went with Wei Li as the victor here. But overall, Joanna won as well. This is probably, in my opinion,
No, you
one
see
of the
now
greatest-
you're being too positive. One won and the other lost.
I know, but it was one of the greatest female MMA fights
It was.
I've ever seen. So
Yeah.
they're both winners. When you look at it, if they could both be champions out of this fight, you know, it almost feels
But they
like
can't.
There
they
is
can't. I
something
know
to that, though, AJ. I will defend you a little bit here.
Wow, this is a first.
Yeah, it is a first. I'll take your side a
Check
little
his
bit.
temperature.
But
I mean, they both delivered. It was a great fight. You
That's
say
it.
one of the greatest female
think
fights.
the greatest.
Yeah, exactly. The greatest and one
Yeah.
of the best MMA fights. Period. Like at the end of this year, it might be the contender for fight of the year. So
I agree.
Joanna loses the fight, but doesn't lose any drawing power after this fight. You know, she doesn't really lose much. She lost the fight, but you know, she was getting paid the flat rate, win or lose. She doesn't get to become champion. She didn't win the fight, but she put on an incredible performance, and she's still a star in the division, and she's still somebody that is going to be tough to put away at 115 pounds. Zhang Weili is the big winner. She wins the fight. She was I wouldn't say dominant, but she was the winning fighter. Like, you watch the fight, and it was like, yeah, she's winning this fight. It was a close fight. Joanna was in it, but Zhang Weili won, and it was a really good fight. I was a little bit surprised that it was a split decision, though. I was surprised when they started reading the scores that one judge scored it for Joanna. I'm not really sure how you do that. I don't know. I gave Joanna watching it on Saturday. Now, admittedly, I haven't watched it again. I only watched it the one time live, but I only scored like the fourth round for Joanna, so I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure how you score it. 3 rounds for Joanna Jędrzejczyk on Saturday night, but whatever. The right fighter won, so it doesn't really matter. But the split decision, like, one judge did score it for Joanna, and I don't know anybody that scored that fight for Joanna Jędrzejczyk. Like,
Conor.
you'd be surprised. A lot of people online.
Connor did?
Connor
did,
Conor
and
McGregor.
a lot of people online had Joanna. I agree with you. And to me, the first 2 rounds I remember were for Zhang Weili, and the 3 other ones, you know, you can make some argument. Maybe if you make an argument for all 3 going to Joanna, but that's a hard sell for me because when Weili is so dominant in the first 2 rounds, and then you're gonna give all the 3 other ones that are tight to Joanna, like she doesn't even get 1 out of the 3. So I had Zhang Weili. In the end, this fight delivered. We got to be like happy with the spectacle, especially with what the main event gave us after. Like the best part about the Joanna fight was the end of the fight where all the other pros were standing up and giving them a standing ovation. Like these are professional, recognizing that these 2 ladies just gave us like an incredible show.
Yeah, they gave a piece of themselves in that octagon that they'll never get back.
And where I was surprised is that I thought at one point it was going to be like just, you know, the ref was going to stop the fight. I mean, Joanna looked like E.T., let's be honest. I mean, she got battered so much.
She looked like a rhinoceros.
She looked like a rhinoceros, exactly, which I...
You meant to say rhinoceros, or maybe...
No, rhinoceros.
That's how you pronounce it. She came out
like a rhino, and she looked like a dinosaur at the end. The thing is this, the little boss is back. What I'm trying to say is that this fight is a classic. The rhinoceros t-shirts will be out in a couple of weeks. You buy them on Ringside Report. Dave will have them out. You can choose any color you want. Small, medium, large.
I haven't made
Come on, Dave. Don't snooze, man. Rhinoceros is our tag. And I know you, Rogan. Don't take it from us now.
AJ, you're really excited about you mispronouncing the...
I didn't mispronounce it.
Rhinoceros.
Listen, they made memes about it, so it's great. So what it comes down to...
Yes, there was a rhinoceros meme because...
Rhinoceros.
On the watch-along, if you didn't watch the watch-along, you can check it out on the YouTube channel right now at ringsidereport.net as well. AJ and I did the UFC 248 watch-along, and my favorite moment was not any fight or anything that happened. It was when Joanna had this giant thing coming out of her forehead, just swollen up from a solid punch from Zhang Weili, and she looked like a rhinoceros, and AJ's like, oh, she looks like a rhinoceros, and I'm like, what is that, like a dinosaur, a Tyrannosaurus Rex? What are you talking about?
I saw a video today of that swelling,
the contusion.
Yeah, the contusion swelling. Okay, and it was like nasty. Honestly, it was one of the worst. But hey, she went to the hospital after that, and she was cleared like pretty quickly. She went back home, and I think she's already back in Poland right now. So
yeah.
So physically, I think she came out of it like visually, it was like gruesome, but
that's why I'm
it was okay according. Like everything's okay with her.
But Freddie, that's why I was surprised. I thought the ref was going to stop it at some point. They were looking at that forehead. I saw Joanna touching her forehead a few times, and she's like, oh my God.
It was bad.
It was bad. So I was surprised that the refs didn't stop it because they stopped some things a lot less than that.
Oh, for sure. You got to be scared that there's not a brain injury or something.
No, absolutely. Safety first. But the truth of the matter is they didn't stop this fight. It's going to be a classic. We're going to be reviewing this fight in 10 years from now and saying, you know what? 2020 produced one of the greatest female fights ever. The thing is that you're right. I mean, when they went to the hospital, I know that Weili was like lying next to Joanna. There was a curtain between them. There was a lot of crying between each other and a lot of respect after the fight. They had a chance to talk to each other while they were like lying next to each other.
That's cool.
It was really cool. And Joanna gave a lot of credit. Joanna's a class act. She's a class act. She's one of the top MMA fighters of this modern time. And you know what? She thanked Weili. She said she was going to support her through her career. We haven't seen the end of Joanna. And it might be that at one point, maybe in a year from now, or maybe two, we'll probably see that fight happen again.
It might, yeah, because Joanna is still one of the top at 115. Zhang Weili is probably going to be one of the top fighters, if not the champion, for a little while now.
Rose is the one that we need to see back.
I was about to say that.
She lost the title to Andrade, and Andrade lost to Weili. So, we want to see, like, the way she was so impressive against Joanna, let's see Rose against Zhang Weili a little bit. That would be my next matchup.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah, I agree 100%. Rose Namajunas, she's next for Zhang Weili. She beat Andrade. She beat Joanna. Rose is the other champion of this division. Maybe you want to beat Carla Esparza too, so you could beat all the former champions at 115 pounds and be looked at as the most dominant champion.
But like I say, those first 2 rounds by Weili was so her striking is very crisp. The best striking I think I seen with Amanda Nunes, where like her motion and everything, she has a good power behind her shots and everything. No.
Her combinations are so fast.
Exactly.
I can't even see them coming in at times. So to defend someone like that, I mean, you got to be really good. And that's what made Joanna who she is. I mean, she's so good at not only striking, but defending and moving away from those angles that Weili was throwing. I could not believe it. And she has a lot of power behind her punches. So like, in the female division, this girl here has like possible punching power like some male MMA fighters.
And you were very impressed with Zhang Weili's punching power so much that you thought she was going to win by knockout.
Yep.
Who had the winning ticket? Zhang Weili by decision, though, AJ.
You're right, man. I started off good. I thought I was going to come out of this with some good money with my parlay, but in the end...
Another ref would have stopped it, though.
I didn't think it was going to stop.
It was fine.
Yeah, but Dave Simon pulled it off.
Yeah.
So Dave Simon...
I made a little money on that decision.
So if you wanted to win in Vegas...
4-1 odds. 4-1 odds on Zhang Weili by decision.
I was impressed.
Talking about odds, the casinos have just been announced that they're closed in Quebec.
What? The casinos?
Man. First a casino.
Well, there goes our pothole fixing for Montreal for the next 3 years.
There goes AJ. Maybe the strip clubs are next, AJ. That's your home away from home, right? What are you going to do?
I don't know, Freddie. What do we do now? Tune in next week and we'll let you know.
How about the main event last Saturday? Well, Israel Adesanya versus Yoel Romero.
Strangest fight ever.
I didn't like that fight very much. I was not really impressed. A lot of people are putting the heat on Yoel for how bad that fight was. I'm going to put it on both guys. No, I think Israel Adesanya could have done a little bit more.
Israel could have done more, but I mean, Yoel, you're the guy with the shorter reach. You got to attack a little bit. Like, I'm not even going to make it about you got to beat the champion. I'm going to make it about like 2 guys fighting. To me, it reminded me a lot of the Carlos Condit, Nick Diaz fight, where if you're not able to corner your opponent, well, you're not much of an MMA fighter. So, Yoel, if you're not able to corner Israel and put him in danger, I'm sorry. Like,
but at least Carlos Condit punched Nick Diaz in the face once in a while. Israel just he threw leg kicks at Yoel and then bounced away. Leg kicks at Yoel and then bounce away. But it worked.
Yoel was doing this thing with his hands. He looked like he was dancing more than he was fighting.
Like he was saying look at how much of this nonsense I could do because I'm not respecting you because you're doing nothing to me.
No, but you know what? We can't. You know what? Let's not look at it as a bad fight for Israel. I thought
it wasn't a great fight.
Look,
it was not a good fight.
Okay, considering who he's fighting against. He was fighting Romero. As soon as Romero started the fight, and I said to Dave, I said, what is this rock'em sock'em robotic stance? I mean, what he did is that he wanted Israel to commit right away. Because you know what's going to happen. Romero's going to have that heavy punch, and his only game to beating Israel was to get this guy frustrated, to open up, and then Romero...
But he needs to cut the distance, and he never did.
But what he did is that when he got a shot on Israel, and you can...
One in round 1, and maybe a little bit in round 5.
But it was enough for Israel to comment saying, you know what, I took that shot. It didn't really affect me that much, but it was enough. It was enough not to take it again. So he knew the power behind his Romero. The thing with Romero is that he played the fight and he stuck to it. It was going to be a boring fight. He knew it, but his thing was just to knock out Israel. That was his only game, And you know what? I thought Romero could have taken Israel down and really went to his wrestling
Yoel
background.
was mad after that fight. His press conference, I don't know if you saw it. It was wild.
But he didn't commit
He was
anything.
mad. He said, Israel was just running around, not fighting,
I wouldn't
scared
say
to
that.
fight.
He took a page out of the Nick Diaz
He
book.
called him a total disgrace. Paulo Costa did a press conference too for some reason after that fight. He also called Israel Adesanya a disgrace, and he said he's going to bring the fight to Israel. That's the next fight for Israel Adesanya. It's going to be Paulo Costa. I kind of want to forget the Israel and Yoel fight, kind of like a bad dream, because it was not fun.
Look, Dave. I mean, it wasn't fun, but the good thing about it is that the prior
Neither man came to fight. I mean, let's be honest, man. I don't think Israel really, he did what he had to do to win. Israel Adesanya came into that fight to win, and he even said, he's like, look, there's millions of dollars at stake. I'm not going to go in there and risk myself or anything. I don't think he really went in there.
About that.
He didn't really go in there to finish Yoel Romero. There was no point where he said, man, I'm going to put this guy away, right? There was no point where he was doing that. I think at a certain point in the fight, he kind of cruised, and he said, look, I'm going to do enough to win the rounds and get by. And even then, when we were watching the fight, I'm like, man, this guy's not doing anything.
Yeah, but it's also because Romero changed up the game. I mean, I don't know how they were conditioning themselves to get to this main fight through their training camps, but Romero at one point went southpaw stance, and that took Israel's game right off. He opened up, and he's like, this guy's gone left. The whole game was completely changed. Israel didn't want to commit, and I thought, okay, it wasn't a great fight. And we could talk about George's fights in the past, and people were accusing him of being a boring fighter and whatnot. But George stuck to his game and won. The bottom line is, sometimes you don't have to submit a guy. Sometimes you don't have to knock out a guy. Sometimes it's not going to be the fight that the fans are going to want. But the bottom line as a professional athlete is, you got to fight your game. Israel saw that Romero was playing this weird game. Romero was playing the game because he knew what he needed to beat Israel. Both fighters stuck to their game, and it became a boring fight. But the truth of the matter is that Israel won. And you know what? He got his leg kicks in. And you know what? He was hospitalized with those leg kicks.
Who was?
Israel was in the hospital.
Was he?
Yeah, he was in the hospital. So
Sure
the thing,
about that?
yeah, he was in the hospital. So the thing is,
I don't know. He did the press conference.
He
after
did an
the fight.
interview a day after from his bed.
He went to check up on his legs. His legs were battered. So the thing
From
is,
kicking
You're
Yoel.
sure
kicking you. Yeah, listen, you're kicking Yoel Romero. This guy is a
Yoel
beast.
was dancing at his press conference after the fight, saying he
you
wasn't
can
hurt
dance.
at all.
Well, you know why? Because he didn't really engage that much. Considering who Romero is and what his game usually is, he comes in like a rhinoceros, and he didn't do it in this fight.
I was gonna
And you know what?
say-
Israel played a good fight. He played a smart fight. I give him kudos.
My funniest meme for that fight was they had a sequence of both guys just doing little moves but not touching each other, and it said when you and your friend just bought a new game and have to figure out the controls.
Yeah, that was the best. I saw that
that's
one, too.
basically what it was.
Yeah, it went where you and your friend buy the new game and trying to figure out the controls. And Israel and Yoel are both kind of dancing around, not going near each other. They're both trying to figure out how do I do the come over here? What's the button to do
move,
come
right,
over
Freddie?
here?
It's this one here where he was doing this break dance, Tai Chi move. Look, you know what,
He's
Romero?
okay, back B, that does this. I get it.
Look, they had more action when they did their weigh-in press conference when Romero did his backflip and he went into his splits. You know what? This fight just wasn't what it was meant to be. But thank God the prelims with O'Malley all the way to
Everything.
the co-main event was amazing.
Was good. The
it was worth the money.
good up until the main event. Now, let's try and preview fights that may or may not happen this weekend. Shall we?
Let's do it.
Kevin Lee versus Charles Oliveira, the main event for UFC Brasilia in Brasilia, Brazil. And it will
Bronx.
be Kevin Lee minus 140, the favorite. Oliveira plus 120, the underdog. Now, usually I would say that this event would favor the Brazilians because the crowd in Brazil helps. It's
Charges him up.
yeah, it gives a lot of energy to these Brazilian fighters in Brazil. But this fight will be held in Brazil without a crowd because of the coronavirus. So,
Look,
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think advantage Kevin Lee. I think without the crowd, if I'm a foreign fighter going into Brazil and there's no crowd, I'm like, yeah, that kind of plays into my advantage because I don't have to deal with them telling me I'm going to die. That's what they yell, you know? That's what they yell in Portuguese at the fighters.
Kill.
You're going to die. You're going to die. They chant that at you. Now you don't have to deal with that. You don't have to deal with the crowd. You could hear your coaches. It's not bad.
No, absolutely. And look,
for the fighters.
Look, Oliveira is a guy who's been in the game for over a decade. There's no doubt about it. A 16-8 record. He would be the favorite if there was a crowd behind him. But the thing with Kevin Lee, for sure, he's changed up his training camp. He's gone over to TriStar.
He wouldn't be the favorite with the crowd behind him because the lines were made when there was supposed to be a crowd, and he was the underdog. So that is incorrect once again, AJ.
No, I'm talking about I'm talking about Kevin Lee.
You said Charles Oliveira would be the favorite if there was a crowd.
Well, I'm saying that he would have.
And when the lines were made, there was supposed to be a crowd, and he was the underdog. Like I just said, Kevin Lee minus 140, Charles Oliveira plus 120.
Right.
The underdog.
But what I was saying, I was going to try to finish, which you didn't let me finish, Dave, as usual. I was going to say is I would probably go with Oliveira being in Brazil with that whole crowd behind him and whatnot. You know, he has a great record. I think he has
confused? There's no crowd.
I know there was no crowd, but if there was a crowd, it'd be an Oliveira win. I think Kevin Lee's coming out with the win.
Here, eh?
Hey, listen, man, I don't flip-flop like you, man. I don't know. You won last week.
You don't know. You
won last week, but I stepped on my game.
Don't laugh too much because when your guy endorses Biden, I'll be there to laugh.
Take it easy. Take it easy. Moving
Freddie,
on.
Good point, Freddie. Good point.
Moving on, Fred. I've got Kevin Lee in this fight to win. I think his wrestling and his boxing is going to do some damage to Oliveira. I don't think Oliveira is going to be able to catch him. I think Kevin Lee's going to outwork him, out-athlete him.
I'll go with Oliveira.
All right.
I like him to go decision, submission, something like that. We'll see.
Don't forget, Kevin Lee has a good ground game as well. So
Oliveira has a good stand-up still. I like we think of him with his jiu-jitsu, which is very good, but his stand-up is very good also.
He's a good fighter.
He could
easily
if it stays standing up, I think Oliveira has the better striking, but hey, it's going to be a good fight.
Yeah. It's an interesting fight, man. I like this fight. I could see it going Oliveira's way too.
You're both going Oliveira?
No, I'm going with Kevin Lee. I feel like he's gonna win, but man,
I agree with you.
I'm not sure. I'm not really sure.
I'm going with Kevin Lee.
It's a tough fight to pick. How about Damian Maia and Gilbert Burns?
Man, this is going to be the craziest.
If you're a jiu-jitsu fan, if you practice jiu-jitsu, this is a fight you want to watch. Gilbert Burns and Damian Maia, two of the best jiu-jitsu fighters in all of mixed martial arts, going at it in the co-main event at 170 pounds. Gilbert Burns is the favorite, minus 175. Maia plus 155, the underdog.
This one hurts me, but I'm going to pick the young guy. Like, I love Damian Maia, and I hope I'm wrong on it, but Gilbert Burns, he's a young lion. He's hungry. I mean, still 33, but the guy...
Damian's 42.
The guy, Gilbert Burns, he's on the upward trajectory. So, look, this would be a big win, and from what I've read, like, he seems ready, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna tap Damian Maia. I don't know if that's going to happen. But
look, this is Dorino, and Dorino is an ADCC multiple champion. So is Damian Maia, ADCC champion. These guys know the grappling game. Dorino is one of the best grapplers in the world right now. Coming up against Damian Maia, who's one of the greatest grapplers in MMA. And again, in the BJJ scene, he's one of the best ever. But you have a 32-year-old Dorino who knows the game on the ground, and this is exactly where it's going to go. And I hate to go against Maia, but Dorino, I've seen him grapple. I've seen what he's done on that scene, and I'm going to tell you, I agree with Freddie. Someone's getting submitted, and it's going to be Maia.
What?
Maya's going to get submitted.
I disagree.
Dorino's going to take his back and choke him out.
I got Damian Maia by decision.
Oof.
How do you like them apples, baby?
Those apples are not going to bake.
Damian Maia by decision. Gilbert Burns says he wants to grapple with Damian Maia. No, he doesn't. Nobody does.
What are you talking about? He's a multiple ADCC champion, man. You're talking one of the best grapplers in the world right now.
When two grapplers go at it in the UFC, they wind up boxing. And Damian Maia is a superior boxer. He's a superior striker. He's going to beat Gilbert Burns by decision over 3 rounds. He's going to outstrike him. How is Gilbert Burns going to take down Damian Maia? Is he a great wrestler?
He's not a bad wrestler, but Maia has good takedown defense. There's no doubt about it.
I've got Damian Maia by decision, underdog pick. That's the one I like. That's the fight that I'm pretty confident in here. Johnny Walker, I'm pretty confident in Johnny Walker. And I like the odds here, baby. Johnny Walker, minus 130. Nikita Krylov, plus 110. I feel like Johnny Walker is going to knock Nikita Krylov's head off. The only reason why he's not a heavier favorite is because he just got knocked out by Corey Anderson in his last fight. Nikita Krylov lost to Glover Teixeira in his last fight. He's a tough fighter. He's good and all, but Johnny Walker is dynamite. He's superpower.
Stop it, AJ.
He's scary, man. You saw what Johnny Walker
Now you're
was.
talking, Dave. Finally.
Look.
It took you only like a year and a half.
Look, Johnny Walker
You're
was
talking as if Krylov is like a jabroni.
Krylov is very good, but Johnny Walker was smashing people left and right until he ran into Corey Anderson, who's a very tough fighter. I'm impressed with Johnny Walker.
Who?
I don't
Who
know.
did he? Like
Khalil Roundtree.
Enrique Da Silva,
Khalil
No, he
Roundtree's
beat Misha
legit. Misha
Justin-
Justin, whatever was his name there.
Well, who's Nikita Krylov really beating?
Wow,
OS-
Vincent Prieur,
OSP.
Maldonado.
Oh, Maldonado. Come on.
I mean, he's fighting top guys also. I mean, for you to just like dismiss Krylov. Look, I agree. I'm gonna pick Johnny Walker also, but if
thank you, Fred.
if Krylov does a surprise, I wouldn't like. It
Look,
won't
he's-
be that big of a
Fred,
surprise.
you listen, he's won 5 in a row. You're right. But the difference is that
No, he
you
hasn't.
got Johnny. Hasn't he won
Krylov?
5 in a row?
No.
No,
He lost his last fight to Glover
To Glover.
Teixeira. Pay attention.
he's like 1 and
I thought he
2
had
in his
won.
last 3
Yeah,
fights.
either
he's
or.
lost 2 of his last 3.
Okay, so correct me.
Totally wrong.
I'm wrong. On
We're
that.
always here to
AJ
correct
is-
you.
AJ is not.
AJ is never
AJ
wrong.
Exactly.
Oh,
Thank
wait.
you, Dave.
AJ's always wrong.
Either or, it doesn't make a difference. You've got Johnny Walker with a 3-inch height advantage. You've got 5-inch reach. That's the difference. Johnny Walker's coming out and he's knocking him out. That's what it's going to come down to. I know Johnny Walker. I don't really need to know the other guy. I know Johnny, and Johnny's going to win. And hopefully he comes on our show. By the way, Johnny Walker, if you're listening, contact Dave Simon. I'll give you the phone number after the show.
Stop giving my phone number
Come
to Johnny
on,
Walker.
Dave.
He already has it.
He already has. Johnny already has your phone
Great.
number.
Now Johnny Walker's going to call me.
And we'll bring... Don't worry about it. We'll bring the Johnny Walker. Red label.
I mean, Johnny Walker can call me, I guess.
Red label.
But it might be weird.
That's
like,
a little bit cheap for
well,
him.
he has, if you win Johnny, we'll bring the black.
I still have the gold.
We'll
I have
bring,
a little bit of gold left.
Well, we'll give that to Johnny, a little
Okay.
gold.
Francisco Masaranduba Trinaldo taking on John the Bull McDessie.
McDessie.
This is a good card, man.
Man.
Whether they hold it in an empty arena or not, I don't really care. I'll be watching this on Saturday. Masaranduba coming in right now as the favorite from Brazil, minus 155. McDessie plus 135, the underdog. This is a good fight, man. Trinaldo's a tough fighter. I
He's
like
a
this guy.
beast, man.
I've been watching this guy since he was on the Ultimate Fighter Brazil way back in 2012. That's how long this guy's been in the UFC. It's been a while. 41 years of age. I just love his nickname, Masaranduba. It's a cool name. John McDessie, he's from here in Quebec, 34 years old. He's won 3 fights in a row. He's been doing well since he moved over to that Duke Rufus camp in Milwaukee.
Look, McDessie.
This is a really good fight here, McDessie and Trinaldo. This is a very solid fight night card. Even the prelims on this. Like, we're talking about the main card, but the prelims are really good too. Quick pick here for McDessie and Masaranduba.
Look, Trinaldo, I remember way back he lost to Kevin Lee, but over that he's gotten better. McDessie is a bull. No matter what, he always comes out to fight. He's had some fights that have been classics. You know, McDessie is going to come out and charge Trinaldo. I'm giving this fight to McDessie. KO.
All right. I'll go with McDessie too.
I'll go with Trinaldo.
What? Okay.
Let's see some of the other fights on this card. Randa Marcos, a Canadian fighter. She's going to be fighting Amanda Ribas. Jussier Formiga on this card, taking on Brandon Moreno. Ronnie Yaya fighting Enrique Barzola. So some good fights here on this UFC Brasilia card going down this weekend, hopefully. But it doesn't look like any fans will be let into the arena due to the coronavirus. That is my enemy. I hate you, coronavirus.
But it doesn't matter. We're still going to watch the fight, and that's the beautiful thing about the UFC.
I will kill you, coronavirus. I will kill you with murder. I hate you so much.
With a rear naked choke.
Yeah.
Out.
Man, I hate Corona. What a jerk. So Daniel Winston says that tickets for the Austin, Texas show are supposed to go on sale. So the UFC is supposed to go to Austin, Texas in June, where our buddy Daniel's from, and he says that the tickets are supposed to go on sale May 1st, but I would think that those tickets will not go on sale May 1st.
Well, you know what? It really comes down to what kind of a card is it going to be. We don't even know the full card. So if it goes up May 1st,
maybe you'll get some of these fights that get postponed or outright
pushed over to
canceled,
Texas?
And they'll have to be pushed towards the summer when this corona thing hopefully blows over and everybody's fine and nobody's sick anymore. Hopefully by June or July, everybody will be fine and everything will be back to normal.
Who knows? Maybe that's the fight that they'll push the Ferguson, Khabib fight into.
Look,
that would be crazy.
Right now, everything's up in the air. Anything scheduled, I'd say rule of thumb right now, anything scheduled for March, forget about it. It's not happening. Anything scheduled for April, be doubtful that it's going to happen. And in May, hopefully everything will be all right. But right now, I would say that if you have tickets or plans to go to any major event with more than 50 to 100 people in March or April, forget about it. It's not happening.
Yeah, it depends on all the travel bans, like Freddie was saying earlier. It really depends. We don't know. Right now, it's going to be hard to get in and out. So far, the Canadian borders haven't been closed to the U.S., but if that happens, it's going to be some interesting times. Who knows how the Saskatoon fight's going to go as well? If
it continues to trend the way it has been, this whole thing, where it gets worse and worse and more crazy and crazy, I'm taking the whole family. I'm going to Nova Scotia. I think everything's safe in Nova Scotia right now. Small town Nova Scotia. I'm going there. All right, I'm just going to hide out and quarantine everything.
So since you're the one,
there's like no people out there.
So since you're the one coughing, you're bringing the virus over there, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna be patient zero in Nova Scotia. I'm just
Ringside report.
I'm just gonna bunker down somewhere.
Now everybody's gonna look at you weird, like who's that? Who's that outsider?
Dave Simon.
Yeah.
It's that radio guy from Montreal.
Yeah.
Let's put him in shackles.
Yeah. Anyways,
just stay here. We'll do our show. We're gonna do reruns of UFC 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So you're saying I shouldn't
don't abandon your fans, man.
And hunker down somewhere in some sort of bunker.
Me and Freddie are not going.
I don't want to relive the Mark Coleman years.
Come on, those are amazing.
No, those were
the
awful.
steroid years. Those
I'll
were
tell you
incredible.
What, let's just watch old George fights.
We could George's first fight back.
We'll watch UFC.
Wasn't he on the undercard with Tito Ortiz?
Yeah, something like that. If there's no no UFCs, we'll do watch-alongs on the YouTube channel for old George St. Pierre fights or something like that.
Beautiful. It's like going back in time. Classic.
We'll go back in time and we'll stay here. And you know what? We're going to quarantine in here. We're all going to stay in here. We'll get Johnny North in here.
I'll bring my pajamas.
And we'll just live in the studio.
Jägermeister.
And we'll be on YouTube
24/7
until coronavirus is over.
I think that's a great idea. I'll bring my Doritos.
Sounds good.
It's awesome. A couple of cigars.
We're going to get really fat if we just sit here and eat Doritos and don't go do jiu-jitsu.
We can train a bit here.
Oh, we'll do jiu-jitsu together.
Sure.
I'll move all this stuff. We'll put some mats down.
What more do you want?
All right, guys.
It's not that bad.
I think we're all right.
What about time with my family? What more do you want?
No, the family. You need to be away from the family if you're next to Dave coughing right now. But the thing is this. Think of it like the ice storm. We're going to get all close together. We're going to be even closer as buddies. And you know what? You can't ask for better. You think Rogan does this stuff? No. No.
Okay.
You think Ariel Helwani does this stuff? Not even
take
close.
It easy.
Come on.
Okay.
Let's be honest.
On that note, we're going to wrap up this thing.
What, Dave? Why?
Follow AJ on Twitter and Instagram at Danny Bruck. Follow Fred at Freddie MMA. You could follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dave Simon MMA. You are right, AJ.
Again?
Rarely here, but I was wrapping up the show and you're like, why? And I'm like, well, we're on the radio too and there's time restrictions. But I realized that we're on a sports radio station.
And there's no other sports going on right now except us.
What's everybody talking about? There's no sports.
They might need us now more than ever.
I think they need us now more than ever.
We're right now the number one show probably in North America.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We're the only show actually is still operating.
I think it's amazing. And you know what?
And we'll be the last show still operating. When everybody goes down, we'll still be here somehow.
That's right, man. The UFC is just growing.
Well, Fred won't be here. Fred will be at home. But AJ and I will be here because
we'll be
we're
watching
crazy.
The watch-alongs, man. There's no doubt about it.
We'll be watching old UFC fights until we die.
Listen, we have a lot of people that watch this show and comment and whatnot. We have our good friend from Texas, Daniel. Maybe he can suggest a fight that we could watch and talk about.
That's it.
Daniel, let us know.
Send your suggestions. You could do it on the Super Chat during our shows. You can send your suggestions for what to do during the corona outbreak. What should Wrestling Uncensored do? What should Ringside Report do if there's no WWE and there's no UFC to talk about? Should we go back and watch old events? And if there's some old events that you want us to review or watch, send us your questions or comments or suggestions. Do it on the Super Chat while we're on YouTube. Send us your stuff. We're also on Facebook Live. You could also send us stuff at Dave Simon MMA on Twitter, and I'll take your suggestions everywhere. So definitely do that because we may need them over the next month if there's no fights. I don't know what we're going to do here, guys. Things are about to get super weird on Ringside Report. We're just going to have to rely on, talking to AJ about his thoughts on stuff.
Maybe we could call like Logan Paul or something like that and ask him like, why
get
not?
him to be on the show.
Why not, man?
Right.
He got knocked out by Costa.
That was fake.
I'm not sure.
Fake
about
news,
that.
AJ.
Not according to Paulo Costa.
Getting suckered in once again by some nonsense. All right, we're wrapping this.
Oh, don't forget.
What?
Most important, guys. Wash your hands, like Donald Trump says.
I mean,
wash your hands.
You should always be washing your hands regularly, even when you're not sick, even when there's no virus going on. Constantly wash your hands. Wash your hands if you touch anything. Wash your hands when you come inside from somewhere else. Wash your hands, man. Like, don't be dirty, basically, because that's how you spread disease, not just coronavirus, but like everything. So wash your hands. Be safe. Take it easy. Be cool. We love you. Stay out of corona. Don't get the virus. Remain indoors.
And listen to our show, man.
Don't do anything you don't have to do. If you don't have to go out, stay inside. It's got to that at this point. So continue to watch our shows. We're going to continue producing shows. If these guys have to be quarantined
no,
or
we'll be all quarantined together.
If there's a lockdown, guys,
we
and
just
you
get
guys
together.
can't come here to the studio,
well, we'll just give it to you and we'll all be in like one
we'll
room.
get you via satellite or something. I'll do the show from here. I don't know.
It, man.
The show, the channel will survive forever. So
the team stays together.
Like
no
the video, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel because we will continue to entertain you throughout this outbreak. We will not leave you stranded like your government has. We will be here for you to take care of you. Ringside Report, better than the government. Ringside Report, we love you more than your family does. Ringside Report, stay with us forever.
Dave Simon for Prime Minister.
RingsideReport.net. We love you big time. We'll talk to you again soon. Wrestling Uncensored on Saturday. Dave and Johnny live every Friday afternoon. Thank you to Daniel Winston for supporting the show. Thank you to everybody for watching. Franco, Johnny North, Mad Dog. I see so many people watching the show in the chat. Thanks to everybody helping us out on the radio side. Stay safe. Stay healthy. We love you big time.
Peace out, man.
For Fred, for AJ, for Dave. I'm Dave. This has been Ringside.
Wash your hands, report.
Port.